we've done a pretty good job of putting ourselves in a decent position so far. We're going to aim for playing the Midas Touch and swinging the hammer this turn. It'll probably require us to take some damage here, but I would like to be able to Midas Touch an ally off of the board and then Arsenal the pummel. If you guys have been watching me for a while, it's no surprise to you that I'm pretty doomer about the, Gravy versus Victor matchup. I generally just think it's something we should throw in the towel and go have a hot dog and enjoy lunch for. But it's still important that we understand how to play the matchup. Because even if we don't want to play against Gravy, we're going to have to. And it's important that we understand our game plan and we understand what Gravy's trying to do against us to snowball their game plan to make it out of reach. This game highlights some interesting decisions on my side, and I feel like it really showcases some good moments on how to play patient, when to be aggressive, and what you should look for as the Guardian player in this matchup. Thanks for stopping by, guys. I hope you enjoy the match. All right, we're playing against Gravy Bones, and we are going first. I think we're just going to go ahead and throw Cranial Crush here, and then we're going to Arsenal the Pummel. Stopping them from drawing cards could actually be pretty good for us. I'm pretty surprised that they were willing to activate the compass here on turn 0. I wonder if that means if they have a defense reaction, the blood in the water, blood on the water, whatever it's called. No, just gonna block 6. Okay. I assume they would want to draw up their hand and then compass on their own turn. Would be how they wanted to play that, but all right. So they start with the Loan Shark, activate Gravy Bones, discard a Sawbones. Okay, discarding a Sawbones. All right. They'd like to undo this action. Yeah, okay. I don't know what they're trying to undo. I'm going to say no because I don't know what's happening here. Okay. They discard Chum, which is fine. They'd rather put Chum into play than something else. No problem. And then they play Sawbones from hand and they pass. I guess I'm going to play the Goldmane Estate here so that we can try to draw into like a go again card here. Drawing into a Test of Strength, not the best thing in the world. We need to kill the Sawbones. It is unfortunate, but we need to kill the Sawbones, just like we need to kill Chum. There are a few allies that we kind of have to get off the board the first time we see them, and Chum is on that list. Sawbones and Chum are both on that list. We'll put right behind you on the bottom. Okay. Drawing into CNC Pummel is pretty good here. I'd like to be able to play the CNC Pummel if I have that opportunity. They get rid of their last gold. We're going to make sure that we try to block out the gold-baited hook here. They've not put a blue into their graveyard yet, but they do have 4 cards in their hand and 1 in their arsenal. Red Swell. Okay. I think we're pretty safe to just go ahead and give the Test of Strength here. And then we win with a red Boulder Drop. So we have a 6 block pretty easy here off of Peck Perfect and Boulder Drop here if we'd like to. We can block 6 and then like Gauntlets of Iron Will if they throw a Conqueror of the High Seas at us. It's gonna be okay. They're just gonna go search up an ally and then probably just put a Chum into play if I had to guess. Maybe they want to put the Rigor Mortis into play. They have not created a gold yet this turn, so them activating Gold-Baited Hook is not free by any means. They're going to go get another Rigor Mortis, attack with the Sloop. I think we'll take 6 this time around. We're also turning on Skullcap here, so if that lines up as a good block, that could be pretty good for us. Yep. Put a Rigor Mortis into play and just attack for 6. I think we'll just block 6 here, just keep our life total up, and then we're just going to go upstairs with the CNC Pummel. Reordering their triggers. Oh, I don't know how that got into their graveyard. Did I miss? Oh, the Loan Shark. They discarded the Loan Shark. So Now our Command and Conquer Pummel is not nearly as good because I thought, they had a card left over. They were probably going to Arsenal, but it does not appear that is the case. We are still going to push as much damage as possible here and try to take some cards out of their hand. So we take a 6 point life lead and they're forced to discard a card, which is weird because it kind of plays into their game plan a little bit. But all right, so they still have a Rigor Mortis in play. If they attack us with something, Test of Iron Grip could be pretty good here. Well, they're not going to attack us with something that matters, it looks like. This is 6 go again. Skullcap is not turned on here. How do we want to play this? I think we're going to go Grip and Gauntlets here. And then if they activate Hook and send in the Rigor Mortis, I will be more than happy to take the Hook here. We've done a pretty good job of protecting our life total and protecting our gold. And they're just going to attack for 6. I think we'll just block 6 and we'll see what we draw into off the top. The fact that they have 2 Rigor Mortis in play is not the best in the world for us, but that's okay. We're going to pitch Riches of Tropoldani to a gold for our Pot of Greed playline. We've already created a gold this turn, so playing this doesn't really benefit us that much. I think, just interested in coming in for 7 here. If we had Crown of Providence, I would probably just go ahead and draw a card. All right, so we put our opponent down to 21. We've done a pretty good job of putting ourselves in a decent position so far. We're going to aim for playing the Midas Touch and swinging the hammer this turn. It'll probably require us to take some damage here, but I would like to be able to Midas Touch an ally off of the board and then Arsenal the Pummel. This is a hand where we have to take some damage to try to set up, but I don't think we have much of a choice, to be honest. Also kind of funny that we're so far ahead that our Skullcap is not like really doing its thing right now. Skullcap is a concession for other matchups as opposed to playing like something like Crown of Providence. All right, so they're going to Conqueror of the High Seas with a Hook activation. So we're going to go down to 1 gold, which is unfortunate, but we don't have a card in our arsenal for them to destroy. And I don't think they've put an ally. No, they put an Oyston into the graveyard this turn. So, yep. And then it's going to be Rigor Mortis for 6. So I think we're going to go down to 20. And we're going to use our Midas Touch to get one of those Rigor Mortis off the board. And then we'll probably go upstairs for another 6 here. So yeah, I'm okay giving them 1 gold. It's not great, but it's kind of the world we're in right now. And then we're just going to swing the hammer upstairs. Now, it's interesting because we have the option to pummel this now if we wanted to be able to try to push damage through. I don't think that's correct, though. I think that even though we are leaving ourselves open to a Conqueror of the High Seas, we need to be able to play pummel on something that matters. This Golden Sun is a great example of that. I don't know that we're going to have an opportunity to do that. Yeah, so now they have a free Hook activation, which means now, like, we're just hoping that all they can do is throw 1 ally, and that's not correct. See, they automatically have a better play here. So let's see. We want to protect our Pummel. Pummel is one of the power cards that we have. So I think we're going to have to block 6 and then activate Quick Dodge Flexors. To protect our arsenal, I am just going to pitch the Thunderquake. And then we will lose our gold, but we're going to get value out of our Quick Dodge Flexors this turn. And we're going to aim to try and just throw the hammer at an ally. Like if they put like a Scuba in play, we'll just try to kill it with the Anothos. Rigor Mortis is unfortunately one of those ones we kind of have to leave in play. This is where like, Rigor Mortis is an example of something like Blow for a Blow or something like Performance Bonus handles very well. And a Loot the Hold. Okay. So we're going to have to leave this in play, it looks like. No go again here. I really don't want to have to discard this card, but I think it's worth just getting the value of just keeping our life total up here. It's not like they can razor this or anything. So we're just going to go ahead and cover this up. And hopefully there's not a conqueror next turn. Um, Unfortunately, that chum is going to cause us a problem, but I don't really think we have a choice to do anything else right now. We're just going to have to hope that we rip into like something pretty impactful so that we can pummel something pretty good here. They did not activate hook last turn, which I thought was surprising because they made a gold. Like they had a free opportunity to just do that. Okay. This is looking pretty good. All right. Well, the third conch is unfortunate. We've seen all three conchs in the first 6 turns. I mean, there's only 34 cards left in their deck, and they're pitching quite a bit. They've seen over half their deck. It's really not that surprising. We are going to cover this up, though. And we win off of a debilitate because Chum only has 4 power. Although we did just give them a little bit of extra knowledge of what's on top of their deck. So we have to take the good with the bad here. We do have Spinal Crush Pummel, so I am probably going to take quite a bit of damage here to set up Spinal Crush Pummel. Even though they haven't seen any D reacts yet, like they still have all of their equipment to block with. They still have their boots available to them. They have a lot of things that they could do that could really hurt us. Gold baited hook into 6, steal one of our golds is unfortunate. Let's see. So if I take 6 and go to 8 and then I pummel and it connects and we actually get the effect, we might as well go ahead and use our skull cap for value now, I think. I think we're better off to just use this for value here. And then we'll lose a gold, which is unfortunate, but doesn't really matter, honestly. And then we're going to go down to 9. And then we are going to attack them. And they can activate Chum however much they want. It doesn't matter at this point. We don't need to do anything before we actually put our attack into play. Chum is a great example of where seismic surges can actually hurt you a little bit. So we're going to try and use this to be able to buy us some breathing room here. So we're going to do this and we're going to play the pummel. Hopefully they do not have a defense reaction here. Because if they take 7 and go down to 8, discard a card, and then they can only do one thing, hopefully we can draw into something that is high impact to let us try and close this game out here. We'll see what happens. We'll see what we draw, though. I mean, this is a pretty good hand. It is not going to close the game out in any capacity, but it is a pretty good hand. I think we can block with the headbutt, take 3, and then we can just throw 10 upstairs at them. It won't close the game out, but it's going to put them in range for us to be able to close the game out. And I'm not blocking with Tunic here because it's possible there is a world where we can... There's a world where we can try to use Tunic for like that third pummel. So like next turn, if we're able to like block 9, Arsenal pummel, and then draw into something that we can pummel off of a Tunic counter, we have the ability to try and close the game out. Ooh, they're blocking a lot. Oh, there's a lot of equipment there, I bet. I bet that's balance, hook, and a 3 block. So currently has them taking 4. Yo, what happened? They just conceded? I'm gonna say good game, but what were they blocking with? They were gonna take 4, and then I mean their hand was pretty decent, I think. I don't really know why they conceded the game. We might have been able to close that out depending on what came off the top of our deck, but I think that was a very early concession from our opponent there. There are 3 big things that I want to talk about in this game, and we're going to start from the beginning and work our way through. The first one is the fact that our opponent played all 3 Conqueror of the High Seas in the first 6 turns of the game. That was pretty tough to deal with, and it really took some wind out of our sails on some of the earlier turns. Now, having quick dodge flexors on the turn with the Conqueror worked out very well, but running Arcanite Skullcap instead of playing Crown of Providence did put me in a position where I was forced to just like try and block the two out that mattered. Thankfully, I didn't have an arsenal on one of them, so it never really came up. But for the other two, I was forced to block them out. And Crown of Providence is like a get out of jail free card against Conqueror that we don't have in our deck with the way that I have Victor built right now. The second thing that I want to talk about is that our opponent never played a ley line of prismatic ley line. They never played a prismatic ley line against us. Now they had one in the arsenal on the last turn there where they conceded, but they never played one against us to try and like turn that into a 0 for 4 or a 0 for 6, really optimizing a ton of their damage, which worked out really good for us. Our opponent also waited to be able to put Chum into play. Now, Chum never really mattered in that game because they did get one down, but I do think that the more, 6 like toughness allies they can get into play, the harder it is for us to deal with. And you also give your opponent some like options to make mistakes. But ultimately, we were able to play 2 pummels early on in the game. Worked out very well for us being able to arsenal those, set those up, play those on things that mattered, and then them not playing a prismatic ley line worked out very well for us. The third and final thing that I want to talk about is the fact that they conceded as early as they did. I don't really know why they conceded. They were going to fall down to 4, and then we were looking to try to be able to finish the game off when they have 3 allies in play. And that's not always the easiest thing to do, especially when one of them is a chum. I looked at my next couple of hands after the game was over, and my next hand was going to be like 2 blues and 2 Test of Iron Grips. Well, they weren't going to send any like non-ally attacks at us on the following turn, so I don't really know that we were going to be able to close the game out with the next couple of hands that we had. I didn't have a Zealous Belting until 3 hands from where the game ended when I was looking at it. So I don't know that we were going to have enough life to have the breathing room to play it. It was going to be a down to the wire kind of game, but with them having Mage Master boots and having access to probably some pretty good allies they can put into play and enough pressure they can apply, I don't know that we were going to be able to hang on there. Guys, as always, if you see any mistakes that you think I made, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear about it. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take it easy, guys.